Hi everybody! Welcome to the final discussion video, and indeed the final video for this course. Congratulations on having made it this far. So, in order to wrap up Module 5 and to engage in a bit of a discussion about some of the concepts that were presented, we're going to come back to a question that was posed in the introduction. That question being, are we as a species somehow inclined to move, to migrate, to explore? And the reason we're asking that question is because if you think about it for our species, but also for our bipedal ancestors, we are marked by a series of quite major migratory events. We clearly move a lot. And so it's worthwhile to consider what factors and what variables are important in considering why it is we as a species move so much. To start off the discussion is Anna Marin.
Well, that's actually a very interesting question, that last one. Archaeological and anthropological studies have shown that there's actually a number of factors that inspire us to move from one place to another. To start off with, new land. For example, if your group expands, you need more resources to support that group. One way of getting those resources is getting new land. Resources is actually a very important factor in ushering people to move, because we also see that people, for example, follow migratory animals. But on the other hand, people also move because they're fleeing from violence or they suffer from environmental degradation, which is also a very hot topic at the moment when we see with environmental changes and people living on land for generations find that the land is just not helping them sustain their lives anymore. However, in the end, are we maybe just curious to explore what's behind the horizon, to just go and see what is out there?
Those are some very interesting points. Something that I immediately heard was the word migrate, which immediately made me think of a person moving from one country to another country. But then when you think about the past, that might not have been the case at all, because modern geopolitical borders are actually a really recent invention. For example, if you think about Homo sapiens leaving Africa and going out of Africa, they probably weren't going out of Africa at all. They were just moving through the land. And nowadays we've named that continent Africa, but that's it. And another question in that regard is also, how long does it take for us before we consider an area to be truly our own? Or if we even had such concepts of ownership of land?
Yeah, and this concept of being able to own land indeed might be a relatively recent invention. And it's important to consider because the ownership of land is then what allows us to say that a part of the landscape is ours and thus not someone else's. So it's quite relevant in thinking about debates involving immigration today, debates that of course can get very heated and very divisive. So with one group saying they own a particular piece of land, that then gives them the right to benefit off of the resources from that land. It gives them the responsibility to take care of that land, but it also gives them what they feel is the right to defend that land, to defend it against what they consider to be the other, or a group or a population who does not have ownership to that land. All of that be as it may, what we can see through anthropology and archaeology is that borders and boundaries have changed a lot. In the past, populations moved around a lot. And so in keeping this in mind, we can sort of get a better understanding about modern conceptions of ties to the land and perhaps how recent or ancient these may be. So we welcome your thoughts and your feedback on this question. Please share it with us on the online discussion forum, and we look forward to seeing you there.